For most of you that know me, know that I've got a deep interest and passion in ancient history and antiquity, and I believe that the lessons of the past we can implement in today's busy world and modern living. I wanted to touch upon an ancient region of the world now known as Tunisia in the Maghreb in the north of Africa, but a few thousand years ago it was known as Carthage, and this was a mighty empire which now lies in ruins. Yet in antiquity, Carthage was a powerhouse, and in this era it was laden with wealth, riches, and one of the main components of its success was its mighty navy. Now the pioneers of this empire dominated the Mediterranean for over 6 centuries, where they had control of islands such as Ibiza and even Corsica. So you might ask, why was Carthage able to dominate the region? Well, Carthage became a leader due to its innovative technological advances in the equipment that it had and the military might that was developed, particularly focusing on the navy and the various seafaring ventures. There was also a legendary harbour in Carthage which could hold over 200 ships. Both of these ships were used for military and even merchant, and it was the vanguard of antiquity's most formidable navy. And really the harbour was one of the key components of the success of the Carthaginian Empire. However, over time, the mighty Roman Empire just across the sea came to the forefront to challenge the domination of Carthage. Now, one of the key advantages that Carthage had was its naval ships, and one of these ships was known as the quinquereme. These ships were mega ships, and they were the titans of that particular age. Now, Carthage became embroiled in decades-long wars with Rome, and these wars were known as the Punic Wars. And eventually, Rome was able to capture one of these quinqueremes shipwrecked, and this naval vessel was taken and mapped and reverse engineered by the Romans. So now Rome had the secret weapon of the Carthaginians, and this eventually led to the downfall of Carthage and paved the way for Roman dominance. However, during these Punic Wars, arguably the most noted military general of history came to prominence, and he was known as Hannibal, the son of Hamilcar Barca. Now, we're not talking about Hannibal from the famous series A-Team who loved to smoke his cigars. This was the General Hannibal, a key leader in antiquity. He defied the Roman Empire and led an army across the Iberia, passing through Spain, France, navigating the dangerous territories of the Alps, and all the way onto the gates of Rome itself. His military prowess and feats were further recognized due to the fact that he took a brigade of war elephants with him, crossing hundreds of miles of terrain through hostile territory. Eventually, Carthage was defeated by Rome, and the Romans burnt the city down to the ground and destroyed the once vast superpower of the Mediterranean, and so came the end of Carthage. So, whilst I was researching and learning about Carthage, I came across a lot of lessons that I can bring into the contemporary world of business and entrepreneurship. Now, if you look at leadership, Carthage was able to prosper because it invested in its leaders. Now, Hanno the navigator was one of the leaders of Carthage, and he was a seafarer who was able to travel across the sea and took part in an array of adventures. He even crossed the famous Pillars of Hercules, also known as the Straits of Gibraltar. Now, another leader of Carthage was Hamilcar Barca, the father of the famous general Hannibal, and he also rose to become a great military and political leader of his era, and he went toe to toe with the Roman Empire. Now, if we put some sort of comparison in the modern world of entrepreneurship, we can understand why it's important to invest in leadership. Now, you can do that through building knowledge and training, but becoming a leader in your organization and amongst your peers. Leadership can help steer the way for your business to go in the right direction, in the right avenue, and leadership can also allow you to make better choices. Now, for all the keen marketers out there, a lot of people often use lead magnets in marketing. For example, cheat sheets, PDF guides or ebooks. Now, in those days in Carthage, there were many trade channels and prosperity and wealth which acted as lead magnets and drew droves of crowds of people into Carthage. And amongst all these people who came there were many engineers, artists, architects, soldiers, and a vast array of skilled people who arrived in the region and the cities. Now, this led to many innovations as Carthage started to grow skywards, and it had amazing apartments which were up to 6 stories high that had even water coming to them. Now, think about materials. Again, in today's world, in digital marketing world, many businesses use tools and software to build their business. Now, some of these tools might be such as ClickFunnels, Lead Pages, Webinar Jam, and Infusionsoft. Now, in that period in Carthage, to create a city of remarkable standing, limestone was quarried from Tunis Bay. Now, this particular limestone was a great material to use for building. Now, this stone was easily cut using simple tools such as water and wood. Masons would chisel dotted lines into the limestone and take wooden wedges and stick them in as far as possible into the rock. Then they would pour water into the wood. Now, naturally, the water would lead to the wood expanding and then it would crack. Now, once it cracked, the rocks were almost near perfect straight lines, which made it very easy for the Carthaginian builders to create amazing architecture. Now, the technology that Carthage had gave it a tremendous advantage and also technological supremacy because mainly of their ships. So now many companies have software or tools that are useful, but as you might know, software needs consistent updating, otherwise it might become obsolete as competitors arrive and constantly produce new innovations which are also more cost effective and cheaper in the marketplace. And also, you don't always have to reinvent the wheel in the world of business. Now, if you look in antiquity, the Romans were able to obtain a Carthaginian ship which they reverse engineered and used against them in that particular example. Now, sometimes you can research and explore your particular business sector or field, and you can observe and study and research what the leaders in that industry are actually doing. Now, you can use these lessons and also reverse engineer some of these techniques and tips and produce innovative content, services or products related or molded with your own context to help you succeed in your industry. Now, I hope this storytelling about Carthage was useful for you, and I hope you were able to get some tips which would benefit you in your business today.